What's going on, team? It's your boy G, and today we are going to be reviewing Lightyear, Pixar's newest blockbuster film, one of my most anticipated movies of this year because of one key thing. This is the first time that we're going to see Pixar not only adapt but innovate a character from one of their most beloved franchises. So going into this, bro, I was hyped because obviously the trailer looked amazing. Pixar knows what they're doing, but I was also a little bit nervous just because they're taking a step out on the ledge with this one. But more of that coming soon. First off, I want to just say what's up to the new subscribers, man. Welcome to the team, and hope you all enjoyed this video. So without further ado, man, let's get into the character breakdown. Alright, first up, we gotta talk about the main character, Buzz Lightyear. And I gotta say, man, Chris Evans did an amazing job. He was a great Buzz. First going into this, I was a little apprehensive just because I'm like, man, I don't know if he's gonna be able to pull off Buzz like in the OG movies, bro. But he did a phenomenal job. And if you ask me, like, thinking about it now, like transitioning from a character like Captain America into Buzz Lightyear, it's pretty much the same role.
Logical.
For this movie, they kept things pretty close to the chest. Buzz's main trope in this movie was learning how to basically live life. Like, there's more to life than the mission. You know, if you know Buzz Lightyear, it's mission first, everything else second, which is very indicative to how Buzz was in the earlier movies. So starting off, no surprises there. Real question was, how is he going to progress throughout the movie, and what were going to be those pieces that will convince him that there's more to life than just the mission. So going into this movie, I was super excited just to see what kind of journey that Buzz was going to be on. But next up, we got one of my favorite people on the planet, Keke Palmer, as Izzy, who becomes Buzz's duo. Now, Izzy as a character was a very good rebounder for Buzz in the sense of always being able to bounce back, but be able to communicate to Buzz like it's not only okay to mess up, but you don't have to carry this burden all by yourself.
I'm not crying, okay? I'm allergic to jerks.
And I love Keke in general, so I was super excited to see that she got a Pixar movie. Now, we don't see Izzy early on in the movie. The person that we get introduced to initially was her grandmother, who was basically the goat, played by Uzu Adabe. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but she was one of my favorite characters from Orange and the New Black, and I just love her voice in general. Like, it was very heartwarming, and besides, Izzy was probably, if not the most impactful character to Buzz throughout this movie. And in a sense, her and Izzy were kindred spirits. Granted, Izzy wasn't as naturally gifted as her grandmother, but had the same heart, so it was cool seeing that dynamic play out and see how Buzz will react to the things that she was saying do, and be able to watch them two grow as we went along.
Sensational.
Next up, we got the main big bad, Zurg, or Old Buzz. Now, this is probably one of my favorite parts of this movie because for me, I think this was a fire reveal. Now, one of my biggest concerns was how are they going to play off the cheesy Star Wars ripoff that occurred throughout the original Toy Story backstory for Buzz. Because yes, during that time it was like the perfect caveat, but now with this being an adaptation of Buzz Lightyear's like original origin story and being based off the movie that Andy saw as a kid, I really wanted to see how far they would innovate not only Buzz the character himself, but also the characters that are connected to him that might not have such a huge role. But overall, I love Zurg in this movie because it really showed the duality and the different paths that you could have gone on. It was a path of solitude and a path of family and friends, because if you're so focused on yourself, you kind of can lose sight of what's around you. And we saw Buzz battle that throughout this movie. So being able to look at a mirror and also do like the multiple realities flip, I was super impressed with that. And I was like, oh man, like this joint is good.
Wow, this is my dream.
But now we got to talk about my favorite character in this whole movie, man, and that is Socks. Yes, I said Socks, the Robo-Cat, because Socks, voiced by Peter Son, was the comedic relief throughout the movie. Like, I found myself like paying attention so closely to like what Socks is doing after every incursion, mishap, battle, whatever. He either has something witty to say or was doing something random that was freaking hilarious. It really always continued to lift my spirits throughout the movie. And that's one thing that a lot of these side characters did, and that is relieve the tension. right? Because we all know who the main stars of this movie was, Buzz and Izzy. So throughout going on this journey with those two characters, it was fun to see this band of misfits stumble their way through not only saving their people, but also stopping a whole enemy invasion, bro. So I really love all the characters in this joint and their character design in general. But enough about the characters, man. Let's get into the plot and pacing for this thing, because I have some words. Alright, so I know I spent the majority of this video so far giving Lightyear its praises, as I should, because this movie was dope, bro. I'm not going to sit here and fake. But the plot itself was pretty mid. But just because it's mid doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I could tell how this movie was going to end after like a quarter of the movie was done. What made it mid was its simplicity, but the execution was where this movie really shined. Because yes, it, like I said earlier, it had fire reveals in this joint, but to me, it was little things like the OG Zerg bot that was chasing him the whole movie. Because after every major event that happened within this movie, we got to see this little bot finally start picking the pieces together. It was a cool reminder of how far we came, and something I didn't necessarily appreciate when it was initially happening, but by the end of it, I was like, oh man, like that was really cool. The different acts in this movie was very clear. They had one of the best montages I've seen in a movie that I never really got tired of, because the way they was able to switch things up so fluently had me invested the whole time.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
And also the way they were able to break down how time works in this universe, because of the whole big dilemma of trying to achieve hyperspeed. But one thing I did wish they would have addressed in this movie, and something that I think was like subliminally put in there, maybe for, I don't know, political reasons, it was maybe like a shot in the dark of like maybe people will recognize this, because I surely did, was how the planet they were stranded on was dying, bro. Like, the resources, like, it started off so lush and vibrant and deadly, don't get me wrong, but by the end of the movie, bro, like everything was withered. And you know, you might have been able to chalk that up to like the ongoing war and invasion that Zerg was putting upon them, but it never really talked about how like using the resources of this planet affected it, especially for how advanced these people were. Like, they were on a scientific mission of discovery, like they were already doing crazy stuff. So seeing their disregard for like what their survival meant for the rest of their surroundings, like as long as it didn't get within their bubble, like they was chilling, you know. And I don't know, maybe I'm reaching with that, but that's just something that I noticed. And don't get me started about the ending, bro. The ending was mad fugazi, but I did like how it reminded me of certain scenes in the old Toy Story movies, especially with the wings. But it's something about these movies and shows that I will never understand, is when a character has a jetpack and they're trying to carry something on their back, right? But the jetpack is doing all the work, especially if it's just leaning on you, bro. I'm like, why are you screaming like it's hurting? Like, I don't know. And we're not even gonna talk about how this man never caught on fire. I'ma just blame it on the suit. That joint was super fire repellent, because everything else was on fire, but we ain't gonna talk about Buzz.
How you, I'm saying, how, like, talk to me, bro.
Like, I'm not mad that they was able to land and Buzz was able to kind of save the day in a sense, but after all the stuff that we went through, this looked the most fake. And I was just like, bro, I was like, they almost was perfect, bro. They was almost perfect. But other than that, I think they had really cool end credit scenes as well. I was waiting for something where it showed like Andy walking out of the theater after seeing this movie or something to that regard. But overall, I think the story was told well, and I for sure enjoyed it. Alright, now let's wrap things up, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, bro. This was way better than the original storyline for Buzz Lightyear, bro. Like, honestly. I mean, granted, this is years later and they're taking a sample size of a larger story, but the way that it was able to craft this movie and this story and present it to us, bro, I was like, oh man, this is super dope.
That's a fact.
And it has me wanting more, bro. I want more Toy Story origin stories. Maybe not the whole cast, but some of those key figures. It already looks like we're going to get a sequel to this movie, so I'm excited for that. But the world that they was able to build with this joint, character design, the suits, different Easter eggs in there. Like the main one that I saw was the little Monster Inc. power cells that was like stocked up within the facility. And probably one of the biggest things was like Buzz was who we needed him to be.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
So to answer the question at the top of the video, Pixar accomplished their goal of adapting a beloved character into a full-on innovative movie that still has room to grow. Like it was just amazing, bro. And I don't know if I would recommend you guys to like necessarily like you have to see this in theaters. It definitely makes a difference, but I'm a little half and half on this because personally I think I would have enjoyed this movie a little bit more if I was just chilling out on a Saturday, bro, at the crib. Like sit back, this is like a perfect movie to watch if there's like nothing else on. It was just something that you can get lost in, and I just really enjoyed the movie overall. But was it as intricate as I kind of wanted it to be?
Of course. Really? No.
But I'm happy with what we got, bro. And I think without further ado, it's time to rank this thing. And that score is a solid 8 out of 10, bro. This movie was really good when it came to like understanding who Buzz is as a character and putting together a story that would fit well with not only his just like original origin story, but also being able to innovate it to where it doesn't feel dated. And of course, this is the first initial movie, so they still have plenty of room to go from here, bro. Like they have seasons on seasons of content that they could pull from the OG show to put into like a sequel or maybe even a trilogy. I don't know.
Ho, brother. Whoa. Now, you got too much dip on your chip.
But I definitely enjoyed this movie, and man, like Pixar, I don't know how to keep getting more and more crisp when it comes to like the animation that they do, bro, because that joint was so freaking pretty. And at this point, I don't know who could top that. So I'm gonna go ahead and up out of here, man. If y'all enjoyed this video, man, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, definitely hit that subscribe button as well. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next review, man. Y'all be easy, y'all know the vibes. Always keep growing, stay going. It's me, boy G. I'm gone. Peace.